Now, it's been a long time since I was this excited about using a no-code tool. This is not going to be a no-code app builder. This is going to be a no-code site builder. And it's a very, very excited tool. There's so many things that you can do with it. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how this tool works, what are the things that you can do with it. And then later in the video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks as to how you can include it into your no-code workflow, as well as I'm going to be showing you a little proof of concept app that's going to help you kind of understand that whole workflow. So we have a ton of things to talk about today. This is an exciting tool. There's some exciting opportunities that you can implement this tool to do. So let's begin. Now, before we get started, all the apps and all the resources that I'm going to be mentioning in today's video are going to be available to view and or clone from my Patreon page, and you're going to see a link to it in the description below. So this tool is called Webflow, okay? And here I am on webflow.com, and this is a site you want without the dev time, okay? So they have a ton of things they talk about. They're showing you some mock-ups, some different site ideas. And if you're looking at it, you may be thinking this is a tool for designers. This is a tool for people that want to build a website. And if you are thinking that, then you just made the same mistake I did when I initially looked at this tool, because this tool is a lot more than this. Yes, you can build sites with it, but you can do so many more things with it that you're going to see in just a moment. So this is kind of what they talk about, creative power that goes way beyond the templates, etc., etc., optimized for marketing, backed by design. So yeah, you can optimize SEO, build flows with logic, and you can build faster with marketplace. Okay, so they talk about a lot of things. None of this really matters for us. What really matters for us is the things that I'm going to be talking about in just a little bit. And so just so that you know, this is way more than any website builder. So let's go ahead and log in. I'm going to log into my free account here. Okay, I'm on the free plan. It's not going to cost you anything to do what I'm going to be doing in today's video. And here I am in my dashboard. So I have one site here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can create a brand new project using various templates and how everything fits in together. So I'm going to click on a new site. And once I do that, I'm giving an option. I can start with a blank template, or I can use one of their kind of built-in templates. Okay, so there's some free templates. There's some paid templates. So these are all free. If I scroll down, these are templates that you have to pay a little bit of money for. And so let's say I'm browsing and I want to build a site. Okay, so maybe this is going to be a site for myself, but most likely it's not going to be for myself. It's not going to be for yourself. It's going to serve different purposes, different needs that I'm going to talk about just a little bit later. But let's say I want to build a site, okay? So obviously I want to be using a free template, okay, just to show you kind of what I want to do. And if we scroll up, we have these templates. These are nice, but then there's some really good templates here. So for instance, let's say I want to pick this template here. Is a membership website, create accounts and post jobs. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this one. I'm going to hit select and I'm going to say James Site 2. Okay, because I already have a site created before. So now it's creating this second project, second website here. All right, so it's all done. And now we are looking at this design. Now, I'm not a designer personally. I've never been a designer, and I'm probably not looking to become a designer right now. And so if you're not a designer, believe me, you're going to be okay. All of kind of the design aspects are taken care for you. But in any case, we are looking at this design, and what we're seeing here is we have kind of the main title, we have an image, we have a couple of other things. And then what we have is a list of different things, okay? Job openings, right? Lists of something. That's kind of the theme that I want you guys to kind of adapt, is that this is going to have collections and you're going to have data in it, right? So if we, you can select it right here, but you can also click right here and you're going to see kind of a navigator, right? And if you've used a tool such as Flutterflow or many other tools, this should be familiar to you, right? This is a really nice kind of little navigator, right? That helps you kind of navigate all the elements, okay? So if you click on this collection list wrapper, you're gonna see that this is special, right? So if you come over here, if you click on this and you come over here and you see this is just a paragraph, right? So if you come on the right-hand side, you can style it, you can, customize it different ways. You also have a style manager here. You can also do some triggers, some logic as well. But I want you to kind of to pay attention. Right here is just regular elements. But if you scroll down to this collection list wrapper, this is special, and that is because Webflow is not just any site builder. It's a CMS, but unlike many other CMSs, and CMS stands for Content Management System. This is a CMS where you can actually design things right in line. There are many CMSs, but they're headless CMSs. They don't have like an interface. But what's nice about it is that you have the whole UI element, UI design elements here, but you also have the CMS stuff, the backend as well. So if you come and click on this collection list wrapper here, you're going to see that this is a list of jobs. This is a collection list and jobs here, right? So now, if you click on this right here, this CMS icon here in this kind of this left tab area, you click on this, you're going to see all the collections. So in this case, we have blog posts because it has a blog, right? It has a blog section where you can have blog articles, makes sense. Then it has job posts, okay, which are going to be different job listings, right? Different jobs that companies are looking for. And you also have companies, right? So these are various companies. Now, if you go back to the main page here, and let's say you click anywhere here, and then you go to the right-hand side, you will see that the source is job posts, right? So if you go back to the CMS, you have this job post. And if you click here, well, guess what? You have kind of a database, really. That's kind of what it is. This is a built-in database. And we have job posts here. So we have front-end developer, back-end developer. So we can click on any of these items and we can learn some of the fields they have here. We can see the fields, and all of this is absolutely customized. You can customize it any way you want. You can customize, you can create more collections. You can create the fields in that are going to be used for each of the items in the collection. This is extremely powerful. And there's so many uses that you can kind of implement and integrate into your overall no-code development. There's so many things that you can do. Now, what we have here is you can edit this field, right? So we have front-end developer, et cetera. And then you also have a link to the actual kind of page for this record here, okay? So minimum qualifications. You also have a map here that's being embedded. You have hours, which is a drop-down, category, which is a drop-down as well. And you have the item ID, which is going to be important for us. So we can archive it, we can delete it, or we can duplicate it. We can also publish it, right? We can come over here, we can save it. It's staged for publish here. We can customize so many things, and you can do that for each of the items here in this collection, right? You can go into companies, and you can take a look at different companies that are, we have companies in this collection as well. You can also click here and you can learn about the fields, the structure of each of the collections. This is this company settings, right? Because we have companies, we have company settings, and then you can do the same thing for this right here, job post settings, and then you can add new fields. So you can create your own kind of database and then display this data in the site using some of the templates that we have provided. I'm going to be talking about that in just a second. And so if we kind of run the site, well, I say run, but really preview the site, right? So if we come over here and let's say I open it back up. And so if I come over here and let's say I want to publish the site to my domain here, I'm going to say publish. And this is a site, kind of the project domain on Webflow, right? And now I can preview the site. And now if you scroll down, we have these jobs, right? These are these job listings, job postings. And then we can click on any one of them. That's going to redirect us to another page that's going to have information for a specific job listing. And you can think of it as kind of this list detail view, except it's all built in, right? It's all built in. You don't have to code something like this in an app builder, right? It's all built in. Really nice, right? So if we come back over here, we can also create a custom domain if we want, which is definitely going to be the case if we're going to be building a real production site. for us, or maybe for a customer, for a client. You also have a user's authentication, right? So you can set up your users, you can do user accounts, you can also configure access groups. And this is going to configure the site where, certain pages are going to be available to everybody, but certain parts of the site are only going to be available to logged in users. Very, very powerful. Another really nice thing that I really, really like is this e-commerce functionality, right? So what you can do here is you can actually create products, categories, discounts, orders, subscriptions. And so not only can you build like a regular website, right? It's not only it's like a regular website builder, but you can also build an e-commerce store and have people actually shop on your store, check out, and you'll get paid, right? So you can configure all of this here, right? You can add a payment provider, you can configure the page, you can do so many things, right? So if we come over here, you can also create different components, right? These are different parts of your site. Obviously, you can create a new page. You can go to pages and you can see we have CMS collection pages and we have regular pages, right? This is really, really cool because you have actually pages that are created, that are being displayed as a result of just these collections. Really, really nice, right? So for instance, here, to see this page, you actually have to log in, right? Because if you come over here, you can see that this is actually a logged in page. You're required to be logged in, right? So specific members only. There's an access group. And so I can make it public. I can make it anyone with a password. Very, very powerful. Very interesting things. We have templates for e-commerce pages. We have user pages, utility pages. So the bottom line is that it's very powerful for creating websites, for creating e-commerce stores. And best of all is that you can control all of that using collections. You can create collections that will automatically fill in the data, right? So remember, if we come back over here, so let's say we go to home and we scroll down, remember this thing is a collection, right? So if I click like right in the middle, it's collection jobs. This is this collection jobs, right? And I can kind of change that. I can change right here. We have job posts. So I can kind of change what I'm trying to display. But then if I come back over here, right, and if I go to pages and I say, well, this is the job post template, obviously this thing is going to pull out data from job posts, right? So it's getting text color, background image, it's getting all of these things from job posts, right? So if I click on this, it's getting the field from our database, which is very, very powerful. You don't need to do it yourself, right? You don't need to do it yourself. You can just push in the data and it's going to go out and create all these pages for you automatically. Very, very powerful. Now, let me show you what I feel is the most powerful thing about Webflow. If you head over to developers.webflow.com, you have Webflow developers page. And this is where you can integrate and build apps that connect to your Webflow projects. And you can do some very, very powerful things. Of course, this is the most important thing for us as developers. This is what I personally care most about. And this is what you probably care most about, because this allows you to kind of hook in your apps, your integration flows, or what name you, and create pretty much any kind of app that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in into my kind of developers area here, and I'm going to show you all the possibilities and the things that you can do. So I just logged in into this developers area, and here's where you can interact with the sites that you are working on. Okay, so this is our entire kind of API. There's many things that you can do. So for instance, if you take a look on this left-hand side, we have Webflow Data API, right? So we have meta, authorized users, authorized information, all of these things. And now we're getting to the good stuff. So we have sites, we have CMS, we have e-commerce, and we have memberships. And so let's say, you're building a site or you're building multiple sites. Well, in this case, you're going to go into sites, and here you can list sites, you can get a site, you can publish a site, you can list domain. You can also create webhooks. Okay, so what this means is that I can create a webhook that's going to notify me if something happened, right? So I can create a webhook here, and here's the trigger type. Okay, so if a site is published, I'm going to get notified, right? if there's a new e-com order, I'm going to get notified. Now, imagine what you can do with this, right? You guys got to start thinking, okay? You guys got to start thinking, if I'm building a site for a customer and, a customer, he wants some kind of feature functionality that something happens if an order is placed or order is changed or et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what? I can create a webhook that notifies me or my application, as the case is, to do something when an order is placed on the customer's e-commerce store, right? Here, you kind of have to think indirectly, right? You have to think in ways where you're going to be building some kind of a dashboard for customers, and they have sites, they have e-commerce stores, and your dashboard is going to get notified if something is happening, okay? So you have e-com order changed, inventory change, etc., right? Collection item created, collection item change, deleted, right? This is extremely, extremely powerful, right? But this is not all, right? So if we head down to CMS, you can see that we have collections. So we have events when, a certain collection was created, updated, deleted, unpublished. But if you go into collections, we can list collections, we can get collection. And now if we head to items, you can list items, remove items, create items, publish, update, patch, get, remove, etc., etc. And then if you combine it with the fact, if you go to sites, you can even publish sites, right? You can list sites, get sites, publish, list domains. And that means you can control this whole kind of this website, e-commerce store, you name it, from an API, which is insane. And honestly, I've been looking at all kinds of different tools, all kinds of CMS tools, and I have not seen so far, this extensive functionality that Webflow supports, right? So if you go to e-commerce, you have new events as well, new order change, inventory change, products, etc., etc. So let me show you how this works, okay? And so if we go to our dashboard, we have two sites. Now, if I go to our API, and let's say I go into sites, and I want to list the sites that I have. Well, what's nice about this is that you don't need to use a third-party tool like Postman or PAW to kind of test things out. You can do it right inside of Webflow Developers Portal. So I can list my sites, right? So here I can try it out, and that's gonna send a request like to get a list of sites, and it's gonna give me a response, and I can even tailor my request. I can change the parameters. So I'm already logged in, so I have this API key. You're gonna have a different API key, obviously, once you're logged in. So let's go ahead. We pick list sites. I'm going to say try it out. We're going to get a list of sites. So as you can see, we have two sites here. And that is because in my workspace, I have two sites. Now, this is important because this gives me a site ID. And with this site ID, I can do many other things, right? I can add items to collections. I can create new collections, etc., etc. Now, let's say we're interested in working with this site here, this jobs site here, this James site too. Let's go ahead and rename it first, and I'm gonna call it James job site. We're gonna save changes, and I'm gonna come back to the API. I'm gonna say try it, and now we're getting this James job site. So I'm gonna copy this ID, and so if you paste in the site ID and we click try, what we have here is a list of collections. Okay, so we have an array, a JSON response type with an array of different collections. So we have companies, blog posts, job posts, SKUs, category. And if you go back to our website here, if we come over here, we can see that these are the collections that we have: blog posts, job posts, and companies. Okay, so we can create a new blog post, we can create a new job post, we can create a new company. And so let's say we want to create a new company. Okay, very, very simple collection. There's not a lot of field. In this case, we can just go back to our API here, and we can say, well, we want to create a new item, create a collection item. So now what we need is a collection ID. Okay, we no longer need the site anymore. We just need the collection ID because these are going to be unique across all sites that we have. And so if we list those collections again, so I'm going to paste the site ID real quick. We're going to say try it. And what I'm looking for is this company collection. This is the ID of the company collection, right? So you need to copy this. You're going to go into items and you're going to say create collection item, and you're going to paste it. Okay. Now, what's cool about it is that you can click here and look at an example, right? So if I clear an example, this is kind of the default, but I can take a look at what would a request be like a typical request. So this is kind of what it tells me, and it fills it out here as well. So we have our collection ID here, and we're gonna make it live as true, right? And as you can see, if we mark it live as true, it's gonna set it right here as a query parameter, right? And if I scroll down and I open this fields object, we have our fields object, which is this part here. So I'm going to fill it in. We're going to create a new company, and I'm going to say company X. The name is going to be company X. All right. So we filled all of this out, and we have the corresponding request here. So let's go ahead and try it. We're going to say try it. And the response is 200, which means everything is okay. That's a good response. And as you can see, we have some data that we've gotten back. Okay, so we have the name that we specified. We also got back an ID in case later on we want to update this collection item, we want to patch it, we want to, get it as well. And now if we go back into Webflow here and we reload this, we should see a new company record that we just created. We're going to go here, companies, and we have company X here. Okay, so if we click on this, this is kind of the record here. And the only thing we really sent is company name and company and the slug here, because these are the two required fields. We also have custom fields. You can also specify company logo, employees, etc., etc. So many different fields, but we only specified the two required fields here. Now, if you go back to the preview here, you're going to see that we have this company X, and that is because it's automatically displaying all the companies. So here we have company X. Obviously, there's not a lot of other info that's being displayed. That is because we didn't specify the info when we were doing it. So I can actually preview this. I can publish it right here. Okay, published. And I'm going to click this to kind of view the site. And now if we scroll down, you're going to see we have this company X here. And it's being displayed first because it's probably ordered by the date created, okay, in descending order. So here we have our company that we just created. And so that was an example of using kind of the built-in API in order to manage the data that we have here and have it automatically display on the website. Now, let me show you a quick proof of concept of how you can do the exact same thing using a no-code tool. In this case, we're going to be using FlutterFlow. So here I am inside of a very, very simple FlutterFlow app. We only have one main page here, and this is going to be an input page, and you can specify a new company record that you want to create. And obviously you can specify any kind of record. I actually have this designated for a new product. And so we're going to quickly change it around so that we can send a new request and create a new company in this case. So I'm going to change this, create new company. We're going to change this. This part here is going to be the logged in user so that we see who is logged in. And here we don't need this. We only need name of a product. We're going to say name or just company name. And then here we're going to say company, create company. And now if we click on this button, we have a workflow, right? If you open this up, we have an action here. And this action does an API call. Okay, so this API call is called create product. So I'm going to change this to create company. We have the post URL. And if you go back here to our API page, you can just copy this URL right here, paste it back here. It's a post request because we're creating things. This is fine, except my API key is probably going to be different, I believe. I'm going to go back here. And yes, my API key, I think it's different. Let me double check. Copy this, go back here, paste it. Yep, it's a different API key. And then we have these headers. And that is because you have the same headers here, except content type as well. Come back over here. Now we're going to go into body, and this is the body. Delete all this, come back over here and copy this body here. In this case, this is this body here, just the fields. Come back to the app, paste it here. Now you want to save it real quick, but we also have variables. And in this case, we're just going to have company name, name. Actually, there's one more. Yes, slug and name. So we need the slug, company slug, and then company name. Okay, both of these are strings. Don't forget to save because it doesn't do it automatically. And now you can go into body and you can drag this thing right here and you can drag this thing right here. Okay, you can save it. And now you can also test this request out. So we're going to go to response and test. Slug is going to be company Y and then company Y. Let's see if that works. Always want to test things out. Let's just save it, test the API call, and we have a status 200 success. So that means everything is fine. Yes, it created it. So we're going to go back to our website here, to our data, and we're going to go into companies, and we have this new company Y stage to publish. And now we can go back to our app and we can finish the app. So this is a company name right here. And we're going to say this is input, this thing here, open, and we're going to remove all this and create new variables. Only one variable, two variables, company slot. We're going to say company name, and company name we're going to pull from the widget state, input name, and company slot. I'm just going to have a static specific value. I'm just going to say companies. Obviously, if you're building a production app, you're going to be using a custom function that's going to create a slug from the name. There's actually there's built-in functions that you can use that's going to convert a company name into a slug. And here I'm just going to put API result. And that's all we have to do. We don't have any errors. We also have the corresponding results. So if it succeeded, it's going to say product added. We're going to say company added. And if it did not, it's just going to say an error. Okay. So yeah, no errors. Let's go ahead and run this app real quick. I'm gonna start a new test environment. All right, so here's our app. It says create new company, create new company. We have the logged in user, and also you can click here and that shows you the logged in user. This is just for debugging, just for testing. Make sure that it's displaying this information correctly. Come back out and you can enter a company name. So let's say it's gonna be company Z, okay? Logical next company after XY. And we're going to say create company, and we have company added. Okay, that is our kind of that snack bar as a response, and looks like it was successful. Let's go back into our Webflow, and we're going to refresh this, come back to our database, and we have company Z here as well. And so as you can see, we were able to add a new record, but that is just, the icing on the cake. You can pretty much do everything using the API. So if you come over here, you have so many things that you can do. And the way I see this, the way I see, you guys using this tool is as a kind of someone who builds not only websites, but actual e-commerce stores for customers, for clients. Obviously, you can build this tool, build a no-code kind of remote control for it, right? Kind of what I did here using the app. But, you can build a dashboard where, you can use something like FlutterFlow as a dashboard, as a SaaS app that's going to display all their sites, create products, create this, have a link to it. You can create a dashboard and say, hey, here's a dashboard, here's a tool that's going to create new sites for you, create new, e-commerce stores for you, create new products for you. You name it. You can also do it. You can do it for consumers, right? For people. You can do it for businesses as well. Maybe some kind of an internal tool, right? For that. Or obviously you can build it for yourself. There's so many things that you can do with it. And when I was looking for different tools that are going to fit into kind of this workflow that I like, I didn't find many tools. I didn't find any other tools except Webflow. And I had no idea they have all this functionality. And this is really, really awesome. And so lots of things that you can do with it. It's really up to your imagination, as always, as the case is with many of these tools, because they provide you with an ability of creating so many different things, different apps, different tools, different stores even. So it's really up to you how far you want to take it. But at least now you know the full capabilities, you know how far you can go with it, and you know what you can do with it. And so I really hope I got your juices flowing. And if I did, and if you're thinking about it, you're looking at it, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, this is cool. I want to take this somewhere. Maybe I want to build a dashboard. I want to build a site. I want to build a real app using some of the ideas that I talked about in today's video. Then you definitely want to check out my Patreon page, because on my Patreon page, not only will you get access to all the FlutterFlow apps that I built so far on this channel, including this one, you'll simply be able to view and or clone just like hundreds of other people have done already. But you also get access to extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind the scenes content, as well as my exclusive Patreon supported masterclass series where we do a deep dive of a specific topic that a lot of people are having issues with, and they would like me to kind of, make a video and talk about it at greater depth. And in fact, just a couple of days ago, I published the latest Q&A where I talked about different scenarios, different things, and gave my advice, my suggestion to pretty much all the questions that our community members asked me to kind of clarify on and kind of talk more about. And so you're going to get a ton of value. You're going to get a ton of content, all the apps. Plus, most importantly, by joining our community, you're going to be supporting this channel and supporting my work. And so if you're not yet a member, I definitely urge you to check out our community and think about joining. Now, if you want to look at a real world example that I built using the stuff that I talked about in this video, including Flutterflow, Webflow, and a couple of other things, you're going to see a video to it right there in the corner. Definitely check it out. It's going to give you a better understanding of the things that you can do with it.